How to sell shirts online. Well, if you're new here, my name is Rich, done well over 7 figures in sales online, lots of it being t-shirts. As you will see on the channel, I go over a lot of different things, covering selling t-shirts on marketplaces or on your own store, or maybe even on your own platform using Shopify. And at this point, I've also done a handful of events in person as well. So we'll go over 3 different methods of you selling online, and then we'll also talk about selling in person. And we'll also talk about the pros and cons of each and every single one. And if you've been struggling online, the last one might be for you, so make sure you stick around so we can go over that. So the first one is obviously Etsy. I show this one on the channel a lot because there's so much traffic on here, and in my opinion, it's one of the easiest ways to start. Low barrier of entry. It is slightly competitive if you don't know what you're doing, but everything's going to be hard if you don't know what you're doing. So for most of you all, you might feel like you're doing something wrong, but it's just because you don't know exactly what you're doing just yet, and you'll be able to figure it out over time as long as you don't give up. Pretty much like anything and everything in business. So when it comes to selling t-shirts on a marketplace, you're competing with other sellers, and it's up to you to use the right keywords, use the right products to get to the actual first page so that you can actually get some sales. And one of the reasons why I like selling on marketplaces is because there's always tools that you can use for marketplaces to see what type of products are actually getting sales. So one tool that you can start with for free is actually going to be called Everbee. As you can see in all of my little listings right here, it has this little bee right here, and that's because I have a Chrome extension installed so that I can actually get access to this feature. So if I click on it, it'll dive more into the analytics of the actual listing itself. So I can see this listing is bringing in roughly $226 per month. And you know what? Although it's not a lot, that's a pretty decent conversion rate for a marketplace. We can pretty much click around, see whichever ones is doing really well. This one's not doing all that. So what I can also do, I can come on over here to this left side and I can click product analytics. So as you can see here, now I have all of these listings from what was just showing us. You can search the entire database, but it starts to run a little slow. I guess it's just too much data going on at once, but I can sort it by monthly revenue and check it out. I have all these products right here. There's just a whole lot going on. So now you can click on, for example, let's click on total solar eclipse. Obviously, this is something that's coming up. It's bringing in $7,000 per month. So when it comes to selling on a marketplace, it's not necessarily a place for your clothing brand. If you have a brand where you really want to focus on the message and your story of your actual brand, say your name is Arthur and your brand's name is Arthur, you're not about to sit here and say Arthur t-shirts all over Etsy because no one's looking for that. They're looking for things that they're already interested in purchasing, and that's what makes a marketplace powerful, is because your conversion rate is going to be a lot, because it's going to be easier to get a customer to convert because of the fact that they're already looking for this. You're not shoving an Arthur shirt in front of people's faces hoping that they're going to buy the actual shirt. You know, this is something that they're coming to us for because we're supplying the product, and this is exactly what they want. So here we have the actual product. If we click on the actual size and the color, you'll see them selling for roughly anywhere $17.50, or maybe a little lower, a little higher. So this is one way that you can go about selling t-shirts online, is selling on a marketplace. And if you're new to the channel, there's more than one way that you can fulfill a t-shirt. There's lots and lots of videos about fulfilling products yourself, and we'll also go over that for the next few steps of selling as well. But if you're still new, you can use a website like Printify where you can create and sell the custom products. They have 900 plus high quality products. So all you have to do is upload that design to the actual t-shirt, and it's going to mock it up, and it's going to integrate directly with Etsy. So if you have this total solar eclipse file, all you have to do is upload it to Printify, and it will attach it to an actual product, and that product will integrate with Etsy. So as soon as someone makes the purchase directly on Etsy, Printify is going to print it. They're going to ship it to the actual customer. Now, if you don't know how to design, I have a lot of design videos on the channel, but here's a quick way to be able to do it. It works sometimes, not all of the time, but you can go back on the same website and type in SVG with the subject of whatever you are looking for, and you'll find some files, some design files based on whatever you're looking for. So here's a whole pack right here, and you know what, you can download this for $4.94, and then you can select one of these and upload it to the t-shirt for sale. That one right there is already similar. Now, this does not guarantee that you're going to get sales and it's actually going to work. It does work occasionally. Like, I bet you this bottom right one though, I almost overlooked it. That one right there would work as long as you know how to actually get your product ranked and know how to do all the other stuff so that your product can actually get some visibility. So, you know, if you're interested in coaching and taking your business to 6 or 7 figures like some of my students, you know, there's a link down below to scheduling a call with my team if you want to take it that far, because that's what we teach on the inside of that program. But regardless, this is one way that you can sell t-shirts online, which is selling on Etsy. Now, number 2, before we get onto our own platform, we'll still stick around to talk about marketplaces some more. You already know Amazon is insane, right? Insane amount of traffic, millions and millions of visitors per month. I don't know if that's a correct stat, but whoever's editing this video, you can fact check me right now. I'm guessing I was right. All right, so with Amazon Merch on Demand, this is still a print on demand service. So all you have to do is upload your design on one of their products and it automatically goes onto their marketplace already. So it's powered by Amazon. So if they purchase it directly on the marketplace, Amazon will print and ship it to your customer for you. You don't have the best margins ever, and it is still competitive as well. I do hear now it's harder for you to get an account. Thankfully, I've had one for a long time now, so I don't know about all of that. But if you are having a hard time getting your account, you can still go to Amazon, make a professional account, and you can integrate it with Printify, but there is not a direct integration. So this right here is slightly more advanced. You'll have to use something like Order-Desk and integrate it through there. So it's going to be a little bit more confusing for those of you guys who are brand new, but this is one way that you can do it. And I think for some of you all who probably had some Etsy suspension problems and you're still looking for a way to sell on a marketplace, this is probably going to be the one for you, and you might change your life this year. You feel free to come back to this video in a year. Let me know how it went for you. On to number 3. We're talking about selling on your own website. Most of the time, it's probably going to be Shopify. There are other websites, but Shopify to me has been like one of the more powerful websites that's really simple to use, and they have so many different apps as well. And also, if you want to get started with Shopify for just $1, you can use my link down below, and that will get you started for just $1 per month instead of the full price. So here's the difference when it comes to selling on your own website. Now you do have the opportunity to sell your Arthur brand t-shirt, your own brand. However, the biggest difference between a marketplace and your own website is that there's no traffic. It's like you're now not in a shopping mall. You're not in a very busy fair or a very busy event center. There's no traffic there. You have to put up billboard signs and advertising and say, hey, come to my store in the middle of the desert. Eventually, there'll be a lot of people coming out to you because you sat there and paid for all the ads. You sat there and paid for influencers to come to your store. You sat there and made the content and drove up the hype for people to come to your store. So that's the huge difference. There's no traffic on your own store, but you're paying less fees because of that. That's the difference between the marketplace and that. On marketplaces, you're paying higher fees, but you're paying for that in exchange for the amount of people that's coming there. But those people that are coming there, they're not looking for your brand unless you are in a specific niche or something that they were looking for. However, when it comes to selling your own brand on your own platform like Shopify, you now have the opportunity to collect data. With Etsy and Amazon, the customers, the emails, and the phone numbers that come there is Etsy and Amazon's property. This data can now be yours whenever you're selling on Shopify. So it's going to be easier over time for you to retarget. It's going to be easier for you to build a consistent business where people love you for being Arthur. So you will have data, you will have emails and phone numbers where you can sit there and send them reminders of when you're doing a new release or whenever you are having a sale, So that's the big difference, is that you have data and you can pretty much do marketing a whole lot easier over time. Now, just because it's your own platform, that doesn't mean you do have to sell an Arthur brand. You can still sell generic based t-shirts. There's lots of websites that do this where it looks just like an Etsy store or Amazon store as well, but you will have to be in charge of driving your own traffic. And that's one thing that we did a lot, is that our Etsy store also has its own website where it's named the same thing, and we integrate the same products over. And whenever we send our Etsy products, we'll put in a thank you card in there with our actual real website, so that over time that customer comes to us directly on our website. Doesn't work all the time, but it's easier for us to run ads whenever it's on a specific niche that people are already looking for, so that is one thing you may want to think about. Just because it is your own platform, that doesn't necessarily mean it has to be an actual brand like an Arthur brand. It can be an Arthur's generic storefront brand where you're supplying multiple different types of niches and so on. However, it's not just a place where you're selling like an Arthur brand clothing where it's all about you and all specific to your aesthetics and your designs. Now we're going to move on to number 4, which is not about selling online. And I told you guys to stick around for this because there's a few videos where I've done in-person events. And you know what? This is probably going to be something that you want to do, especially if you have a brand. Not only do you have the opportunity to tell them about your brand more, you have a real connection to the actual customer and you actually have their attention. When it comes to selling online, a few swipes here and there, they already forgot who you are. They might see your brand, Arthur, for a few seconds on Instagram. They swipe up and it's gone. But in person, and you have a few minutes to actually tell them more about who Arthur is, why Arthur does what Arthur does. And now they'll fall in love with not only your brand, but with you as a personal brand, because now you're connecting with the actual customer. And not only that, the difference is they're gonna let you know why they do or don't even like your products. So if they don't like your products, you could take that as feedback to improve your brand. And they're not gonna just straight up say it looks like crap. They might just be like, oh, I wish this was in a darker brown. Oh, I wish this logo was embroidered. They'll say little simple things where you can take note and where you can advance your product. The biggest thing about selling in person though is that you will have to have invested into the actual inventory. So you can't really do print on demand, or you can't do physically print it on demand. You can't wait till an order comes in and then fulfill the actual product. You have to have the inventory before you even get there. That way the customers have something to look at. However, selling in person is going to be a lot easier for you if you don't have any sales whatsoever and you're struggling online, and if you have a brand, because conversion rates gonna be a whole lot higher and you're gonna be able to build a true connection and relationship with your customer. If you need help with Etsy print on demand coaching, feel free to click the link down below. If this video helped you out, feel free to comment and also subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.